Transition was the hardest thing I could ever imagine doing. In terms of my athletic performance, it's been really groundbreaking. And I know so many other LGBT athletes who said the same thing, that, you know, not living in denial, being your true authentic self is really the key to unlocking a lot of your performance. When I grew up, my first ambition was to be a fighter pilot, but I'm terrible at maths, so I kind of gave up on that. And I think that really evolved into my love of speed and exhilaration, and that really evolved into my passion for racing. I first realised I was trans when I was about 6 or 7 years old. It's really hard to put my finger on it. I mean, back then, trans people weren't part of day-to-day life. We weren't in the media. It was very much a kind of unknown sort of thing, really. So it even took me quite a long time just to understand what it is to be trans, you know, to realise that some people can be born one gender, feel that they identify as the opposing gender, and actually do something physically about that.
Charlie Martin always knew she didn't identify as a male, despite it being her assigned sex. The stereotypes of what women should be halted her from making the transition.
I didn't start transition till I was 30 years old, so it's 22 years. Yeah, of living in denial. It's pretty tough, really. I always felt that the things that I was into were stereotypically male things, like motorsport and racing cars, and I just didn't really feel like I was going to fit into society as a woman. I didn't think I'd be accepted, and this just caused me a lot of confusion about actually fundamentally the person I want to be and the person that I am. And mentally speaking, when I started transition, I didn't look the way that I look now, so I didn't pass. Every time I go into a shop, every time I talk to somebody on the phone, every time I go to buy clothes, I can feel people looking at me and people judging me and thinking, you know, is that person trans, are they whatever? Living with that day to day and living with that stigma is really difficult, and you know, it can be really psychologically damaging.
Charlie is racing in the 2019 Michelin Le Mans Cup. The series is made up of 6 races. Charlie's performance is crucial to help her gain sponsors and recognition, helping her move a step closer to her dream of becoming the first transgender competitor in the Le Mans 24-hour Cup.
We started well. We had a 4th place finish, our first race together in the championship, so it was a great achievement. And coming here, you really want to build on that success.
To begin the race weekend, each team tests out the track by going on a practice lap.
Being behind the wheel of this car, it's very intense, it's very loud, it's quite physical. You know, you're strapped so tight into the seat. You have like things to either side of your head, so you feel quite claustrophobic, but you just get so focused on what's in front of you that all that kind of melts away. You're just like completely focused on what's happening.
Just 8 laps into the practice round, Charlie crashed the car. This is a setback for both the team and Charlie's confidence.
I'm really angry and upset with myself, if I'm honest, because you know, it's the team. Everybody works really hard to I went out first, and about 8 laps in, everything was going well. I was building my speed up well, and unfortunately I just ran a bit too wide on one of the curbs at Lesmo 2, and it spun me back into the barrier, so it's done quite a bit of damage to the car, unfortunately, which is really frustrating from my part. It's an amazing thing to be doing, but it comes with a lot of pressure. I guess they just need to do a bit of a system reset.
Just 24 hours before the race, the team spent the night fixing the car to get it race ready.
They're an incredible team. They're very professional. They're just lovely people. I love these guys. It's the best atmosphere to be in, especially for me when I want to learn and grow and develop as a driver, and you need a supportive atmosphere to be in.
Charlie has always been fascinated with endurance racing. This is her first season with the Racing Experience team. Endurance racing is not only demanding on the car, but also the driver. Because of this, Charlie and David will work as a team and switch halfway through the race.
For us, it's very important that Charlie gives absolutely her best to perform. I mean, she's very eager to improve the technique. I mean, she drives very well. Now we have to make a step forwards in, bringing the whole performance over the complete race.
Basically, I'm first looking at the sensors, the temperatures during the driving. I'm actually the engineer of Racing Experience. She do really well because it's her first year in the LMP3, so she needs to know the car and to improve step by step. And yeah, I guess the first race was really impressive because she did the fourth time of qualifying session, so this is really, really good. I mean, she's really involved and she really listened to our advice, and we have a good communication, so we are very happy with Charlie. Everybody can do what he wants in their life, and that's no problem. It can be a transgender or a female or a male. At the end, it's a driver for us, so it's okay.
Now the team does a track walk to visualise how Charlie will have to react to each corner and to plan strategies for the best performance.
You're slowing everything right down. Every track is different, even down to each country, and every corner has different kind of curbs. Some of them you can run on, other ones you can't, and it's really critical to knowing what you can and can't do. In the car you go too quickly, so it's nothing better you can do really is just walk around the track and look at them on foot. Coming into this weekend I felt really positive and I had really high hopes of what we could achieve together. Obviously you have to be realistic where we are at the moment, but nonetheless there's everything to play for.
Although men and women compete together in motorsport, it is still an ongoing debate in other sports as to whether transgender women can compete in the women's categories. This is affecting transgender athletes on all levels.
We all know sport has incredibly positive effects on people's life, from your health, but also just from doing something that you enjoy and the endorphins you get from that, the feeling of being in a team and the support that comes from that environment. And when you do things that deny people that opportunity, it's denying them a basic human right. I reached a point where things got so bad for me psychologically that I had a nervous breakdown and I was going to take my own life, basically. But at the same time, I realised that that's not going to solve anything, and that's just going to be pain for everybody in my life. And therefore, the only way forwards really is to do what's right and to transition. Transition was the hardest thing I could ever imagine doing, like literally the biggest mountain. And to climb it, and not only that, to actually get to the top and be like, A, I survived, and B, I'm really happy now, and actually my life is great. I suddenly felt like I can do anything. Nothing is going to be, I'm not afraid of failing, because it can never be as bad as that. And the thing is, it's not just about trans people participating in sport at Olympic or professional level. This affects people at all levels. Trans people just want to maybe go to their local gym or want to play in their local soccer team or go to the swimming pool. I took a year out really where I was pretty much thought I'm not going to come back to racing. I guess it's just such a big part of my life, really. It's the thing I love the most. And I think as much as I worried about how people would react, I just couldn't stay away. So I had to force myself to come back and just see what it was going to be like.
To determine where each team will start at the beginning of the race, they all compete in a qualifying round. For Charlie, this round didn't end well as she crashed the car again.
And let's hope that Charlie Martin's car can rejoin the session. The racing experience team are just working their way around the car to make sure there's nothing dragging from the under tray. That's not ideal for a qualifying session, the damage done to the front splitter, but I think might be potentially okay to throw that car back out into the session.
But I braked in exactly the same place the way I was doing, and I just shit luck.
The team now has only 2 hours to get the car back on the track.
Really unfortunate because I handed over to David, and I think literally on his second lap he had a mechanical failure and had to retire the car at the side of the road. So just wasn't our weekend. I feel a bit battle damaged, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, there's some pluses to take from it. Obviously, I'm really happy with how I drove today in the session. I think that was a really good thing for me to take away. One positive. Obviously, it's just been a very difficult weekend. You know, it's been an absolute roller coaster of emotions, of being at the lowest low, having some good highs, but I think it's been hard for everybody, really. I think, you know, mentally and physically it's been difficult, so yeah.
Despite the weekend not going to plan, Charlie continues to use her voice as a platform for the transgender community.
I'm in a very small minority of people. If I can be a role model to people and I can help them through sharing my own experience, my own journey and what I've achieved, then that to me is a great thing to be able to do.